The Lord is saying in Isaiah in chapter 56 and verse 7. The Lord is saying like this: even those I will bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices will be acceptable on my altar. For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all the peoples. Here God is saying that the foreigners who accept the Lord are welcome to come into His presence with their sacrifices and offerings, because the house of the Lord will be called the house of prayer. And this very fact Jesus knew when He was on this earth. So after His triumphal entry into the city of Jerusalem, Jesus came to the temple of God, where the money changers had set up their tables, and there were animals in the court of the Gentiles, and there was a lot of buying and selling and exchanging of money because the Passover was near, and the foreigners had come from different areas, and like foreign exchange, they were having to get the currency of Jerusalem. So the Lord, when He came there and He found all this confusion going on in the court of the Gentiles, He came with anger and overturned the tables of the money lenders and drove away the animals, and those who were buying and selling the animals, He drove them away. And He said, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. Why a den of thieves? Because they were overcharging in the exchange rate, and they were overcharging for the animals that were given for sacrifices, and the people's hearts were away from God. So what God wants is a humble and contrite heart, a heart that is out to worship Him and to honor Him. He says, sacrifices and meat offerings I have not desired. What I want is a heart that belongs to me, a heart that is truly prepared to worship me. So Jesus was quoting this passage in the scriptures from Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 7, when He said, my house shall be called a house of prayer. So God wants our prayers, which rise up as a fragrant incense in His sight, which is so good to God. And it is not the smell of the animal sacrifices that is soothing to His nostrils. It is the sacrifices of praise, the sacrifices of thanksgiving, which rise up like a fragrant incense unto God, and is a soothing smell in the heart of the Lord. That is what God wants. He wants your heart, and He wants your total mind, soul, and spirit to worship Him and to adore Him and to send up the incense of prayer in His sight. And God knows it when we are doing it sincerely, or we are doing it some motive in mind. So this is what was reflected by Jesus when He came into the world some 700 years after Isaiah made this prophecy.